Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday. I am 13 DPO, so I'm going to take another pregnancy test. I did not test at all yesterday, and I really have pretty much zero hope that this test is going to be positive, but whatever. Admittedly, I am not in a super great mood. I'll film more about that later this morning because it's only like 5:30 right now. But we had an appointment at the clinic yesterday, and the short of it is that we have to wait another full cycle because this next cycle is full, whatever that means. So I will call them when I start my period in October, and then I'll start the birth control and yada yada. It was good because we did at least get, some more information about what our protocol would look like and things like that. That's something that I've really been curious about, but I'll film later on this morning about why I don't have a very good taste in my mouth after yesterday's appointment. So let's get this show on the road. All right, we've got our blank first signal. You know the routine by now. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Maybe 2. A little more. There we go. So you can see that it is processing. We'll give that about 6-ish minutes, and we'll be back. Okay, so it has been some amount of time because literally as soon as I turned the camera off just then, I don't know, I pretty much just spaced out. I didn't look at the clock. I didn't set a timer, so it feels like it's been 5-ish minutes, so let's just get it over with. Negative. Yeah, so that's super negative, as I anticipated it to be. I'll try to show you. Sorry, hang on a second. I'll try to get it so that you guys might be able to see it. But super negative pregnancy test. But stay tuned for a major sassy rant, because I have a lot to say. My eyes look googly, whatever. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys in just a few hours. Bye. Okay, so maybe a bit of a plot twist. I swear, okay, so it's only been about 2 or 3 minutes since I stopped filming, and I swear that there is a whisper of a line here. There is no way you guys are going to be able to see it, so I'm not even going to try to show it to you, but there's a whisper of a line, so fucking hell. Guess that means I get to keep testing. That's great. Alright, well, I guess stay tuned. I'll talk more later. Hey guys, welcome back. So it is now almost 3 o'clock. Apparently, I just can't do anything easy. I don't even know why I bother trying to make predictions about things at this point, or I feel like I've said this before, but you know, the way that a lot of my adult life has gone, you know, we make all of these great plans and then life is like, you dumb bitch. Like, it's like, you know, we've got all this IVF stuff going, we're on the ball. And so as a brief recap, so I took my first signal this early this morning, and as I said in the video, I did not set a timer, so I think probably what happened is that I just hadn't waited long enough. I will say those first signals, they do take a while to process. But so I wrapped up that video and looked at the test again. It had been maybe 2 or 3 minutes tops. And sure enough, there's a whisper of a line. And, you know, I think at this point, I'm just so tired of like ambiguity. And I think everyone that has been trying to conceive for any amount of time just wants that strong, bold, positive test. It's like everybody else gets them, why can't I get them? So I think that honestly was the source of a lot of like my seeming like negativity or annoyance when I realized that it was positive. Mostly it's just like absolute fear because, you know, this is my 3rd go round. So the last time 2 months ago when this happened, I was not able, so I took the first signal, it was positive. So then I took a first response right away, and the first response didn't have anything on it. So that was discouraging. So I've had several friends and my sister kind of talked me off the ledge today that, you know, this isn't automatically another chemical pregnancy because of a very faint line. So I ran out and bought more pregnancy tests this afternoon because I had something to do. I had an appointment this morning. And I got a bunch of first response to just like get it over with. So I came home and I tested with a first response at 2 p.m. and it was positive. And it's not even really a squinter. I mean, it's very faint. It's a pink line though. I'll try to show you. I guess I have to show you the right side. Duh. So I know there's kind of a glare. Try to get to a point. I think you can see it. It's very faint, but it's there. So that has bolstered me a little bit because I definitely was not able to do that last time. So I contacted the clinic and I'm waiting to hear back, but I think I will go in tomorrow to start the whole beta cycle, fiasco, whatever you want to call it. So I'll take all the good vibes that anyone wants to send out into the universe. That would be much appreciated. So I ended my video earlier by saying, you know, that I was kind of pissed off about my appointment yesterday at the clinic, and I still am. Definitely getting positive pregnancy test has dampened that a little bit, and I really don't want to put out a bunch of like stank negativity into the universe right now. But to give a fast recap, so yesterday's appointment we met with a psychologist, and then we went with my doctor to sign all of our IVF consents. So we saw the psychologist first, and, you know, basically the purpose of that was her to kind of get a feel for how we are as a couple, you know, what's our story, how long have we been trying,
What are our coping mechanisms? Do we have support? You know, what can we anticipate from an IVF cycle? So, it was fine. You know, you give all of the standard responses, but like, it got to the point towards the end of our meeting, she was talking about how, you know, so once you go through a transfer, then you're in the 2-week wait. And she basically started lecturing me about not testing, taking a home pregnancy test during that time because it doesn't mean anything, and it's qualitative and it's not quantitative like a blood test is, and yada, yada, yada. And I kind of started to tell her about, you know, my experience 2 months ago with the chemical pregnancy and testing and how stressful that was, and how I ended up having Chris just hide all my pregnancy tests. And then she starts talking about how, you know, there have been studies that, you know, chemical pregnancies aren't even really miscarriages. And then she says to me, and let me ask you, would you have even known you were pregnant if you hadn't taken a test? And I said, well, I had to take a test so that I knew whether or not I could stop my progesterone. And she was like, oh yeah, well, that's a different circumstance. I'm just thinking, and just bear with me, there's going to be probably a lot of swearing here. I was thinking, bitch, do not come at me like trying to lecture me like, well, you wouldn't even have known if you hadn't tested. Like, that is so rude. And I just, like, lady, you are a psychologist. Like, I don't need you to talk to me about really anything fertility related. To be perfectly honest, I understand that this is the clinic that you work in, but, you know, I think it would have been sufficient for you to just be like, now we recommend that you don't do tests at home because it can be more stressful, and stress is not going to help the situation. That, okay, but like, don't tell me that my miscarriage, it wasn't even a miscarriage. Like, ooh, I was hot. And, you know, I'm a very professional person. I keep it together and I don't say anything. So that super rubbed me the wrong way. So going into this appointment, I had been very, very nervous because of, again, the whole weight loss situation. So I needed to be, my BMI needed to be 40 or less in order to go through with this cycle. Okay. So I needed to get down to 247 pounds. Okay. So I have reached that. I think over the last couple of weeks, my lowest that I've gotten down to, and you know, you go up and down a little bit, was 245. So I was nervous. You know, I'm kind of at the end of my luteal phase. I feel bloated, and I know they're going to put me on this damn scale. So I was like a freaking mess. So the nurse comes and gets me. She takes me back. She takes my blood pressure. It's freaking sky high. She's like, do you have high blood pressure? I was like, no, sure don't. And so she takes me to the scale, and I don't know what I was thinking. I wore freaking jeans to this appointment. Okay, like probably the heaviest article of clothing that I own. I wore jeans. And the scale was in a hallway, so I couldn't even take my pants off. Well, I mean, technically the nurse was like, you can just take your pants off if you want. And I'm just like, you're in the hallway. I don't want to take my pants off. So I was sweating bullets. I just got on that scale and was right at 247. And the scale itself actually calculated your BMI, and it was 39.9. Boom. Boom. So I felt really, really good about that. It was really excited about that. So I felt a huge like wave of relief wash over me. So we go in the office, the doctor comes in. I'm not even sure if she said hi to me. She slaps that BMI chart on the desk and she's like, you are right at the 40 BMI. Congratulations. You know, I can tell you've lost a lot of weight, but you want to make sure you maintain because, you know, if you're a pound over, we'll have to cancel the cycle. And yeah, when's your next appointment? Yeah, we'll definitely have to put you back on the scale the next time you're here. And, you know, there's honestly, like, I'm an overweight person, and I have been pretty much my entire life. I guess I'm fortunate in that there haven't been many times in my life that I have been fat shamed. And I feel like that's all she's kind of doing, is fat shaming me. Like, hi, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm doing really, really well. I see you've made a lot of really, really good progress and you're, at the BMI requirement. And these are some things you can do to maintain that, some things to anticipate. No, we're going to have to put you back on that scale next time. Because if you're over, then we're going to have to, cancel the cycle. And she said something like, so just make sure you're really paying close attention. And I said, to be perfectly honest with you, this is literally the only thing I think about. I'm not even worried about whether or not IVF will actually work because I'm terrified. You have terrified me about this. So trust me, it's the only thing I think about. And, my appointment was at 11 o'clock. Did I eat anything before that appointment? I sure fucking didn't, because I knew you were going to put me on the scale and lecture me somehow. So the whole crux of this situation is that in order to have egg retrieval, they put you under sedation, okay? They don't intubate you, but they give you propofol. And they want to make sure that you can maintain your airway. That's really important. That's a really important thing, to be able to maintain your airway. So the idea is that the higher your BMI is, the more you are at risk for things like obstructive sleep apnea, meaning you can't maintain your airway, okay? And I get that. But kind of this all or nothing thing, it just feels like, to be perfectly honest, a BMI is kind of arbitrary. To me, what would make more sense would be, if I'm at this higher BMI range, maybe do some assessments. Maybe ask me some questions. Maybe ask my partner some questions. Does she snore at night? Do you wake yourself up snoring? Do you wake up gasping for breath? Maybe do a physical assessment. Have the CRNA come and see me and do an assessment. If you're still worried, send me for a sleep study. Okay? The real question I would like to ask them is, so if I were 130 pounds, but I have obstructive sleep apnea, and I have to sleep at night with the CPAP machine, what would you tell that patient? Would you make accommodations for them? Would you say, okay, well, we're probably going to have to do your egg retrieval in the hospital because it's a safer environment than the outpatient environment? Or would you just tell her, no, sorry, we can't help you. You're not going to be able to do anything. I don't think that that's the case. I could be wrong. I'll admit that. I could be wrong, but I don't think that that's the case. So I am trying so hard to let it go, and I will say something about it. I just don't know when I want that to be. I mean, obviously we're going to have to see how this, new pregnancy plays out. But if it doesn't work, if this pregnancy doesn't work out and I go through IVF, I will bring it up probably at the end of the cycle, just because I don't really want there to be a whole lot of strife between me and my provider. But at the same time, this feels really kind of unacceptable and shamey, and it doesn't need to be that way. If you're worried about my weight, that's totally valid, and I appreciate that. But it's just she basically, in our initial consultation, basically, call us when you lose more weight, fatty. And that's obviously an exaggeration. But there was no offer of, these are some healthy ways that you can lose weight. I can give you a consult to a nutritionist if that's something you'd like. She literally was just yeah, you're going to have to lose more weight. Okay, well, that's great. And really with I think it's just kind of very indicative of the way that a lot of overweight people are treated by healthcare providers. And I hate to say that, but it's kind of true. It's you want to say lose weight, but can you give me some healthy tools? Because how many people that might be in this exact same situation just don't, go home and start taking laxatives or water pills or, purging, because that's what worked for them in the past. And really all you care about is that they lose the weight, so I guess who cares how they go about doing it. It's just really gross and has been very triggering for me, to say the least. So I apologize for this rant. It ended up a lot longer than I had anticipated, and I am sorry for the strong language, but it really has gotten me very fired up. So plan moving forward is I will probably go for my beta tomorrow, yada yada. I'll keep you guys updated. So I hope everyone is doing well. Please, if you pray, say prayers, send positive vibes. I'll take all of it. Well, all right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.